Hey, little buddies! I'm Zion. How are you today? I hope you're doing okay. Do you see my hat? Do you know what kind of hat this is? It's a construction hat. I like to wear it when I work really hard. I also like to wear it when I think really hard. I call it my thinking cap. Do you have a hat? Put it on! If you don't have a hat, that's okay. We can all put on our thinking caps. It's time to read with Zion on the Big Lake channel. And today, the title of our story is called Seeds Part 8 by Eliza Z. Nostal. It's going to be a full moon tonight. We better set these tables to sparkle in the moonlight, Eppy, said Precious. Sparkle and shine and sing and dance off the eyes, absolutely we will, answered Eppy. Epiphany began humming a tune, There's a moon out tonight, as she, Precious, and their friends place every bulb and candle, tablecloth, chair, and fork in its perfect place. Before long, the ladies were all singing, There's a moon out tonight, with Eppy now singing like a nightingale, and all of the ladies following her harmony. The hours were passing like minutes now. Mr. Jackson had arrived back from his morning meeting and the early afternoon celebrating his birthday with his buddies. He'd come home to discover everyone working. Everything was all abuzz. His brother Jake was hanging lights from the pavilion with Micah and IT in tow. Jake and Eppy's twin princesses were helping Pawpaw Freddy move his grilled meat to the slicing table. He saw everyone working hard, and he tried to help set it up, but they all kept shooing him away, telling him to go inside and relax before he got dressed for the party. He kept trying to help, and they kept shooing him. So he finally gave up, as his buddy Chase took over everything he was trying to do and kept pushing him into the house. Once he pulled open the screen door, he wondered, Where is my baby boy? Where is Roy? As he walked through the house, he began calling Roy, but he got no answer. Finally, he headed down the hallway to the boys' room to find Roy sleeping like a cuddled up puppy. And he walked over to kiss him, but he decided just to lay there with him a little while. He laid across the bed with him and pulled him close. Within a few short moments, he joined Roy in a deep slumber. They both were more tired than they knew. As everyone was finishing setting up outside, Mama Precious told the boys to go in and cool off, and then start getting cleaned up for the party. Before long, Eppy, Jake, the twins, and all the friends had headed home to get ready for tonight's party. Mama Precious and Pawpaw Freddy were still, however, at their craft of perfecting things to the last detail. Finally, Precious walked over to Pawpaw and said, Hey, it's time to go in. This 5 o'clock heat is coming on strong. We better let it be. Pawpaw Freddy and Precious headed off to the house and walked inside to find not a knit stirring. It was total silence. The only sounds you could hear were the AC pumping hard and the fans turning throughout the house. Pawpaw went to his wing of the house, and Precious headed off to see where the men folk were. She soon confirmed what she suspected. They were all fast asleep. Even Micah. That September sun had just whipped them all. And she thought to herself, well, I might as well try to get me a half an hour of sleep too. She laid down across her bed and slept a whole 10 minutes before she felt some little fingers pulling at her neck. Roy had awakened and come to her bed saying, everybody was asleep and snoring in his room. She said, come on, and he crawled up into her arms. She said, well, it's almost time for Mama to get you all cleaned up anyway. They lay there for just a little while longer, and then got up to get washed up. While Precious was busy laying out everyone's clothes for the party, Roy had more water time. Roy was busy playing with his little blue boat, sailing to faraway lands, pretending to catch fish, and singing happy birthday over and over. He had to practice for the birthday party, which would start in just a few hours. He was splashing happily while Mama Precious was wiping her brow. She went to awaken her husband so that he could help Roy get dressed while she bathed. As Precious entered the bath, she could feel 1,000 pounds lift from her shoulders. She sunk her shoulders beneath the water and quickly drifted off to sleep. Precious was exhausted, but when the water hit her nose, she started awake. She wasn't sure how long she had slept, but she felt renewed, and she could hear noise in the house. Roy was dressed, and so were the other boys. The boys' daddy had made sure that the boys were all cleaned up and dressed for the party. As Precious came out, Mr. Jackson told the boys to go and finish straightening their rooms. He walked over to his beautiful wife, hugged her, and kissed her on the forehead and said, "Thank you," she said. "For what?" he answered. "For being you and loving me and everyone the way you do." She said, "Thank you for helping the boys and me. You'd better get ready for your party. People will be here before long." And so he did. And finally, now it was time. Precious let down her long flowing red hair, popped on her lipstick, drew her eyebrows, and put on her rhinestone encrusted earrings. Because it was a special occasion, she made sure that her sparkle would equal the sparkle of the anticipated evening. Precious pretty much didn't care where it was. Didn't care what it was. Whether it was a barbecue or an event at Carnegie Hall. She was wearing jewels, real or not. She was fancy like that. Whenever she had an opportunity, she lit the world with her beauty. She couldn't have looked any more stunning in a gingham red and white checkered print picnic shirt and a pair of capri breeches. if Renoir would have painted her. She was not just gorgeous. She was stunningly gorgeous, and Venus de Milo, with all of her curves, paled in comparison to her well put together frame. She was like morning light at midnight. The thing of this, though, it would have seemed unfair to have been given such simple and easy beauty if she weren't as equally beautiful on the inside. When it came to Precious, she was that. Simply precious. And this knight would not just meet, but exceed her expectations for being memorable and beautiful in every way. As the guests began arriving, she, Pawpaw Freddy, and the boys began greeting everyone with hugs, kisses, and handshakes. Roy didn't mind so much the hugs and the handshakes, but he didn't like much all those sloppy wet kisses from those old ladies that would always give it to him. He didn't like those wet moles on their faces. It reminded him of church, where he always tried to speed out the door when church was over. Yuck! But there was no dodging it tonight. So the old ladies kissed, and he wiped. These were Pawpaw Freddy's friends' wives, and they knew all about Roy. Because usually, wherever Pawpaw Freddy was, Roy wasn't far behind. So, they always heard about Pawpaw and his running buddy from their husbands. These were all the grandmothers Roy had never had. Pawpaw Freddy's friend, Mr. Thaddeus's wife's mole, was so big and wet, Roy just nearly passed out every time he saw her coming. But she did always have a nice piece of candy for him after that awful wet kiss. So he usually would let her catch him after church to get the sweet treat. After Roy endured as much as he could of all those kisses, he, in his hummingbird fashion, darted off as he saw his Uncle Jake, Eppie, and the twin princesses, Sandy and Shay, pull up in the yard. Roy was so glad to see his twin cousins. First of all, they were girls. In a house full of boys, they were unusual. Sandy and Shay were particularly interesting because they each talked fast and usually repeated the same things, or said the same things at the same time. And Roy found that to be hilarious. Sandy and Shay loved Roy. They treated him like a little baby. And even though he was growing up, they always tried their best to pick him up and swallow him like an infant. And Roy really liked that too. But best of all, the girls always smelled nice, like fresh honeydew. They didn't smell like his brothers, or Pawpaw Freddy, or his daddy. They smelled sweet, and they were soft like his mama, and were so pleasant to be around. And they never, ever, ever stopped giggling and laughing. And all that laughing was contagious. It made Roy laugh too. As Uncle Jake and his Aunt Eppie got out of the truck, and headed off back to help Mama Precious and Pawpaw Freddy. IT and Micah headed towards Roy and the girls, and they were soon lost in play and laughing. And the girls were just a little older than IT. They were 8 years old now, and loved to boss IT and Micah around. IT and Micah usually did what the girls suggested, merely because they were so taken with them also. They found all that double attention so much fun. While the children were playing, the adults were getting wound up and loud. Mr. DeWeeder had come up, followed by Mama Precious and Eppy's friends, and Pawpaw Freddy's other pals. And now Mr. Howard from the dairy farm and his wife had arrived, bringing presents of all kinds. Cheeses for the party. He had it all. Soon enough, Mr. Jackson's buddies, Chase, Paul, and Tomboy, arrived with their wives and kids, and coolers filled with ice, soda pop, and stuff. Uncle Jake was busy slicing all those melons for the party, and the party was in full swing now. Pawpaw Freddy kicked up the sound on the music player. And everyone was talking and laughing. It was just before sunset when the man of the hour, Mr. Jackson, Roy, IT, and Micah's daddy, and Mrs. Precious and Lovely's husband, Pawpaw Freddy's son, had made his appearance in his white starched shirt, his blue jeans, and his crocodile cowboy boots. He had an A on his great big shiny and sparkly belt buckle, and his Stetson cowboy hat that he had on, he was oh so proud of. When he hit the side porch, the crickets shut up, and the birds sat still. Mr. Jackson was dressed to the perfection. All he needed was a horse to mount. Everyone at the party just stopped and looked at him, and then let out a loud, "Happy birthday" roar. Happy birthday! He was something to see, and at 26, he couldn't have been more blessed with good looks, friends, and a great family, and a great life. Nobody could ask for more, he thought to himself, as he smiled and said, "Thank you all," as Mr. Jackson stepped down from the last step on the porch. Precious walked up and caught his hand and kissed him and said, "Might I have this dance, sir?" And there it was. They started dancing that would go on all night and well into the morning. Please like, follow, share, and subscribe to the Big Lake Channel. The Big Lake Channel is on YouTube, Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram, TikTok, and please check out the Big Lake Channel Spotify playlist. I'll have more Reading with Zion. I'll have some more at-home hacks and wacky words of the week for you very, very soon. Goodbye. Have a fantastic day.